everyone, this is Dr. Spiller. Listen, I put together this documentary on the power of the black dollar because my goal is to push a consciousness among our African American community. Listen, one of the things that I understand is that money is real power. It's not what you say, it's not even your vote. Your money is your power. Why? Because when you take an account of your economic surplus and you start deciding where your dollars are spent, that's where real power is.
The black community, African American community here in the United States has a buying power of over $1 trillion, which would put it in the top half of countries if we were an independent nation. And so,
the Nielsen Company did a study on the power of the black dollar. They stated that $1.1 trillion passes through the African American hands into the economic marketplace.
Whether you are a millionaire, a billionaire, a thousandaire, or a singlenaire, you all play a role in rebuilding the black economy.
The Nielsen Company did a study on how the black dollar circulates throughout the African American community. And they did it in comparison to how the dollar circulates through the Asian community, through the Jewish community, and through the white community. It is said that the Asian dollar circulates in its community 1 month among their own people before it enters into the hands of other ethnicities. Jewish people, that dollar circulates 20 days. White people, that dollar circulates 17 days. But the black dollar stays only in the black community for 6 hours. For every dollar that a black person earns, only 2 cents finds its way back into the African American community.
What's really going on here? Right now, there are 39 million African Americans in the USA, comprising 13% of the population.
Blacks make up 13% of the US population, yet we outspend the rest of the population by 30%. We want to look prosperous, but we don't have the financial aptitude of a prosperous person. We buy Gucci, we buy Christian Louboutin, we buy Hermes, we buy Chanel, we buy all these different things. Watch this now. And as a result of buying them, how much do we have in our financial portfolio? How much do we have in the savings account? How many assets do we own? We are trying to impress people with products. We're trying to impress people with lavish lifestyles, but we have not developed the concept nor the consciousness of spending power and what we can do if we decided to put our money together. I want the black female to consider this. I want them to consider that all the money they spend on hair and on nails. However, even though they spend all of this money, what nail shops do we own? What beauty supply stores do we own? When you look inside the beauty supply store and you're giving your money away, you're giving your money away to whom? Who is the owner? Who is the person that you're giving your money to? And why is it have you not tapped into that stream of income? Because you know that's where the majority of us spend our money. We must get back to looking at how we spend, where we spend, and who we give our money to. The only reason the news media paints the picture that the black community is like the jungle is because black people have not learned how to put their money back into their own communities and allow their own communities to come up from the dollars that they spend outside of their community.
There is no question the United States of America has not treated blacks well throughout its history. As John Adams once wrote, slavery is an abomination. And the persecution of blacks after the Civil War was almost as bad. Because of that history, we are still having trouble with equality. The truth is, African Americans are treated differently by the powerful.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight.
This was not King's dream. King didn't dream for our communities to go down. He dreamed for our communities to advance. He dreamed that blacks would own their business. He dreamed that blacks would be contributors to their own communities. That was the dream. Now, what we've done is we've turned that dream into a nightmare. Why? Because we are no longer focused on making our communities better. We're focused on looking hood rich. We're focused on getting in debt. We're focused on impressing people that don't even like us by buying stuff that we can't even afford. And so now other cultures do not respect us. They don't respect us because we don't respect ourselves. We don't respect where we spend money. We don't respect who we give money to. We don't respect how we're treated by the people we're giving our money to. Some of the clothes that you're wearing are made by designers who don't even want black people in their clothes. But do you think black people care? Absolutely not. We're not conscious of our money, therefore we're not conscious of our power. And since we're not conscious of our power, we're finding ourselves being used and manipulated by a system that don't give a damn about us. We don't know how to keep our own money. We don't know how to keep our money in circulation in the black community so that the black community can be empowered.
The challenge. Maggie Anderson wrote a book about her year trying to buy exclusively from black-owned businesses. That book is called Our Black Year, The Tale of Buying Black in America's Racially Divided Economy. And I know your focus in your book is about African-American businesses, but there's this larger sort of movement around the country of buy local. Mm-hmm. You know, what's the rationale?
Well, the issue, this for me is not just a one-day thing. As you know, we conducted that economic experiment, and for a whole year, every penny we spent went to these small, local, black-owned businesses. And
we have not learned to master our spending habits and then keep the surplus of dollars in our community where we can start building up our community.
And the point is, these are the businesses that are likely to employ the local community. These are the businesses that provide the role models for local youth. And in the black community, we need more role models to come from business owners, not just your local gangbangers or drug dealers. So if we support the quality black business owners in the local community, we can make a difference in that community by retaining some of the wealth in that community, helping fund the underfunded schools, and providing more role models for those kids. So it's very important to do
But that's the thing, though. The idea is keeping the money in the community.
Yes.
And that's what this whole documentary is about. It is to force us to start paying attention to where we're spending our money, who we're giving our money to, who's taking advantage of our money. I want us becoming morally conscious about who we're giving our hard-earned money to. It's time for us to have our black banks. It's time for us to have not just our black banks, but flourishing black businesses. We did it one time in Oklahoma called Black Wall Street. We had it, and we had those things going for us. It's now time to start putting together collaborative efforts where we are working to synergize our effectiveness with our money. Guys, it's time to become conscious about what you're doing with your money. It's time to look at, are we giving it to Dolce & Gabbana? Are we giving it to Fendi or Chanel? Or is it time for us to start pouring it back into African-American communities where, watch this now, the media is marketing that's where the jungle is anyway. They're telling us that's where the indigenous are anyway. They're not even looking at us anymore. Do you not know that advertising companies only put 30% of their advertising budget towards the African-American community? What does that tell you? That tells you that they're not even thinking we count. Yet, $1.1 trillion moves through our hands annually. It's time for us to start being passionate about where we're putting our money and what we're doing with our money, and start, watch this now, getting lobbyists to hear our voice as it pertains to changing our community. Don't look for white people to help us. This is not a white man's problem. It's a black man's problem. We have to start taking accountability for our own selves and start doing what needs to be done so that we can start changing our community. We cannot expect white people to come in and change our community for us. This is something that we have to do for ourselves. I believe that this documentary and the documentaries to come is the first step to start getting us conscious about the power that we already possess.